You're listening to the episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is a place we're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Well, Burleson, I hope you made it through the storms this morning. How about you, Mr. Mayor? Did you get hit? Your house get hit very hard?
The shop did.
Yeah, the shop
it
did.
was coming down.
Yeah, we over out in the country bit. We got the tail end, about 5 minutes of heavy duty stuff, and then that was it.
Oh, it's funny. The sun was shining just before the rain hit.
Right, and so we were blessed, and we did not have the catastrophe apparently that was going on north of us here. My sister-in-law lives in North Fort Worth, and they got just hammered, she said, and that kind of thing.
Thank God for the Burleson bubble.
The Burleson bubble, that is a real thing.
I've heard that term here lately.
Well, it's a real thing because I hear all of these terrible stories, and it's like, well, I got a little rain, but that's about it. How about you, Taylor? Did you get hit?
I was sitting at Starbucks when it hit, and it was crazy. The door wouldn't stay shut and kept blowing open, so they locked it.
The Tesla didn't short out?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask him. But
yeah, it's like sparking everywhere. These electric vehicles, man.
Well, as you can tell, we have the mayor here today, so hit it, Taylor. We're going to ask him lots of questions today.
I noticed you put everything up I could throw.
All right, Taylor. That was fun. We had to do that.
Wasn't needed.
It wasn't needed.
Well, we're going to ask him a lot of questions. I had Debbie Beeman from Promises and Jennifer Woods on at Harvest House, and they both had similar stories. And you know these people, you know these outfits.
Absolutely.
And I know particularly Harvest House you've been involved in for a while. They've had the same stories about needs and whatnot. And in this Christmas season, I got several nonprofits that are asking us to promote what their needs are. And I just wonder what the city's role in that is and what the city's responses are going to be. Because we're getting to a point now where, as we grow bigger, we're going to have bigger city problems. And that's just the fact of life. Also, we can talk about maybe what's going on in 2023, not just with him personally, but for the city. We got a nice conversation prior to the show about public financing. It kind of tails into what we're talking about, what the priorities are, but also the philosophies behind it. And so we can talk about that, but how you been? More or less okay?
Doing good.
And everybody
Doing good. Things are going well.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good get-togethers out at Russell Farms and the Plaza. Did you see the drone show?
I heard about it more than anything else.
Dude, you gotta see a video. There's got to be a video out there somewhere.
I know it came
that
up.
was really amazing.
Well, I know it came up in the meeting yesterday about you got to do more of these and all this. But you had a meeting last night, and it sounded, like your typical city council meeting, not full of drama and hair pulling, but we also talked about the golf course and softball fields, and we'll get to that. But let's get to the sponsors to make all this possible. Thank you, Daniel, over at CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire, behind Stone City Soup, or Stone Soup Cafe. That's what it really is. My wife loves it. I bet Miss Nancy likes it too.
We go.
Yeah, and it's a good workout. It's a heavy-duty workout. It's meant for people that are serious about the workout. You got the same crud I got, don't you? I've been working on that for 3 weeks.
A little tickle.
Yeah. Anyway, CrossFit Burleson, go get yourself a workout. They got training, they got sponsors, they got supervision, so you're good to go. Also, thank you, Shandy. I'm going to have her on next Monday. We're going to talk about the real estate in Burleson. It's going to be always informative. She always comes well prepared. She always comes with data. I read in the papers that the housing market DFW is slowing down, but it didn't look like it here. I see a lot of signs for sale, and they may stay on the market a little longer, but we're still selling houses.
Inventory's building up.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And we're going to talk about all those things. So tune in next Monday for Shandy's show. Also, thank you to Our Place Auto. I'll be having lunch today with a couple of friends there. I was there last week. I know you go there several times a month, and Schmooze the Auto, who walks around there like Sinatra, but,
Ask him to sing to us next time.
Yeah, I know, but he's like the maitre d', His son Ryan runs the joint. He just takes the accolades. But Our Place on the highway in Allsbury, you know it, and it's a great place, and we all know that. Also, thank you to Wild Cigar and Culture. Chris has got several specials going on, cigar specials, drink specials. He has gift cards for if you don't smoke yourself much, you know somebody that does. It's a great place to go get a gift card and be a stocking stuffer. Also, it's a great place to do business. They have a room that you can, I don't know how much it costs, if anything, to rent, but you need to talk to Chris about that. But they have a room for business to be done in a conference room. And also, if you just want to have a one-to-one or something like that, it's a good place to do it. So Wild Cigar and Culture over at The Standard by Chisenhall. And Tiffany Nico also at The Standard. Her magazine came out about 10 days ago. I know she's very busy. I wanted her on the show, but she said Christmas time is a pretty busy time for her. Of course, she has, the daughters to take care of. I mean, family, really. She also has a new media kit available to her. So check it out on localftx.com. She does more than just advertise. She also does social media work and things of that nature. So check all that out and see if you can create some sort of relationship. Also, the well-known, the well-patronized Southern Gym. My wife, as we all know, works there, and she comes home exhausted because they really are busy. They're open today and till 6. They open up on yesterday, which is unusual for a Monday. They'll be open up next Monday. So they added a couple hours to the day. She has the whole thing, not just inventory and repairs, but also layaway plans, gift cards, design, the whole shoot match. And she's moving downstairs as quickly as possible. As you probably have found out, Mr. Mayor, construction projects may be promised on a certain time and delivered at the time there are. And there's quite a bit of business to be taken care of with that. But Southern Gym is going to be open downstairs probably by the end of the year. We're hoping. But anyway, she's got it going on the third floor. So there you go. Got that also. You have Hot Works, Michelle Humphrey, over at 731 on John Jones, over by Chicken Salad Chick, another one of my wife's favorite places, and also near the theater and Kroger and all that business. And it's I think it's called the Commons. I think somebody told me that, but it's a very well patronized place. 11 different workouts with the infrared system that maximizes your workout, so you don't have as much body strain. It's a good deal. Michelle is a very adept entrepreneur. She'd be somebody I'd like to see on some of these committees about business because she really does have a good head for business. Also, Melissa Harmon, my new insurance agent, Texas Farm Bureau at 682-804-0534. She checks out your insurance, and if she can't help you, she'll tell you. If she can, she'll tell you. And she saved me a little bit of money. I was able to up my insurance, both in my house and my personal life insurance. And so it's worth at least a free look and see what's going on. And we have a lot of things going on in the Christmas season. What's going on, Taylor? Yes, it is the Christmas ornament fundraiser over at Accents in Burleson and over at Bennett's downtown Cleburne, which for Re-Inspire, for $15 you get a Christmas ornament. You'll be more than glad to take a bigger donation. Of course, Re-Inspire helps kids that are aging out of the process of foster care get trained for adulthood. They have a spot over in Cleburne on Henderson, and they do a lot of good work over there. So check out one of those two stores, make a donation, put it on your tree, make you feel good this Christmas. Thank you also to our friends at Rachel's Hope at the 20th anniversary to support the Next Step Women's Center. And they got all these specials. Today's special on Tuesday, stop by for sweets and treats. Tomorrow, 20% off transactions. On Thursday, you spin the wheel to win. Friday, get grocery card giveaway. So for the first 20 people that show up. So go by Rachel's Hope. And it's not just clothes. My wife bought a lamp there, little cute little lamp, and she got for a very good price. So it's got stuff other than clothing there. But Rachel's Hope is be a great place to go, maybe for small Christmas gifts. And I think we have one more. Yes, we do. Center for ASD. They need a lot of stuff. I mean,
yes, they do.
Yeah, Now, this is another outfit you've been attached to a bit.
They had a mixer there, and I knew nothing about Lisa and what she does over there. But this is the first time you walk through, and they take you through all the rooms and the clients they have in there.
Right.
It'll
clutch you.
It'll make you be more appreciative of what you have.
Mm-hmm. And what they need right now is paper goods and Lysol. They're trying to keep the bug away as far as possible. They teach these young people with autism, how to take care of these kind of situations for themselves, but they need the tools to do it. So just drop on by. It's over at Crestmont. It's not part of Crestmont, but it is. They give them space for it, and they're trying to expand as well. So if you want to bring a big old bag of cutlery or plastic cutlery or paper plates and maybe drop a few bucks in the bag, I bet they'll take it. So Lisa and Bianca Lowry, they do great work. We have a lot of groups that do this. I mentioned already about my last 2 shows. I had Harvest House with Jennifer, and I had Promises Friday with Debbie Beeman. And it's like, how are we so fortunate to have all these people working in this community? What did we do to earn this blessing?
Let me tell you something. The community itself is amazing.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
What Open Door does, Pathway, Version Church of Christ, and then you got this bunch of rednecks out there that fries up 200 turkeys and gives away.
Meat Meisters?
Yeah,
I've had them on, and they'll have a fundraiser, I'm sure, for Easter. And I got one of their hams for last Easter. We ate on that for 4 days.
Oh, what they do is really good. They take care of a lot of people. But anytime something happens here, our community steps up, the businesses, the whole bit. And it's really something I'm really proud of.
Well, and it is. And this kind of segues into what we were talking about before the show, is that as we grow, we're getting big city problems. And one of those big city problems is we have people in our community that are going without, either without housing, without sufficient food security. Maybe they can't get the rent paid or the utilities paid. And Debbie and Jennifer both said that not only are their donations down because of COVID and the economy and all this, but also the need has grown up. It's grown up by like nearly 100%. It's nearly doubled in the last year for both of them in terms of food donations, in terms of income assistance, in terms of just the basic things that we sometimes forget people need because we already have them. We are fortunate to have these people, but does the city involve itself in these type of enterprises? I know big cities have these kind of publicly funded kind of things, but do we have anything like that?
No, not really. But you got to really be careful on some of this stuff, Brad, because if you single out one entity and help them, is that fair to the others? And you say we got Promises, we've got ASD, we've got Harvest House. We've got a free clinic that we try to support on that. They're
the one on Haskew, you mean?
Huh?
It's on Haskew, right?
Yes,
it's right, the old church Baptist
in front of the
First
Baptist.
Yeah.
So we got all of these people, and there's a lot of individuals that's doing this stuff. Lisa Schwartz, she does a lot of good things.
With Crazy Eights.
So who do you help?
Right. Sherry Scott does those blessing boxes, and it's all.
I know. That's Nancy's constantly going by and loading those up.
Yeah, and it's Sherry and her crew. It's not just her, but she'll be first to tell you they do tremendous work. I mean, that's the very definition of Christian charity.
Oh, let me tell you what, Chris. I was at the breakfast out at Russell Farms, and I like cleaning tables and delivering coffee and stuff like that. And I worked with Sherry and Larry. These people, they work.
Yeah.
I had to leave I got there at 7. I had to leave at 11 to go over to the library, but they were there still cleaning up. I felt bad about leaving, but they were still cleaning up when I left.
Yeah.
That is a couple that they need all the pat on the backs that you can give them because they earned them.
Well, and was this breakfast with Santa at Russell Farms? Is that what I was?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm getting it together now. I guess I missed.
I didn't even
one.
go through the rest of the park because I stayed in there the whole time.
Yeah, and a lot of little kids and whatnot.
Oh yeah, the hugs.
Right,
it was good. Had to get down on my knees. Had to get help getting back up.
One of the better parts of the job, isn't it?
What, clean up the orange juice or what?
Getting hugged with little kids.
No, it is. Half knuckling with the kids.
Well, it's we do have these people. Is it going to be a situation as we grow and as this community starts encountering more of these urban problems that it may be beyond their capacity to help all these people? Do you think the city might? I'm not trying to advocate for a shelter or anything like that, honestly, because I know all the problems that would go with having a public shelter in this community, and I can't disagree with a lot of them. I mean, it's a great idea for some other neighborhood to have, and that kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah,
we brought it. What about tiny houses? What about this one? Okay, do you want them next to your house?
And he said, well, let's put it over here, and it's, well, you're near school, or you're near Old Town, or you're near,
right. Who's going to manage it? I mean, where's the funds going to come to maintain it?
I all those problems I don't disagree with. It's not like, well, they're just being hard-hearted. Hardly. It's like these liberals up in Congress will pass these bills and then they'll go back to their gated communities and guarded houses.
That's right.
And that drives me crazy. But on the other hand, we are having this bigger issue. Is there a way we can help these nonprofits? Now, you said if we help one, we have to help all. Is there a way that we could create some sort of funding and oversight mechanism that people could apply for grants and apply for funding? Not too different from when the hotel and motel tax. You get that.
Who's applying for the grant? Is it a group or? Now, Harvest House already applies for grants.
Through the city?
No.
All right. Well, no, I'm talking about from the city itself. I know they apply for grants.
There's not any grants in the city.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe we should have some from the city.
We don't have the finances to do that.
Okay.
We've got property taxes that we're fighting hard to keep down because of the inflation on the houses. ISD has really got some challenges ahead of them. We don't have the money to go out and start spreading it and helping others when our roads have got holes in them.
Now, I'm glad to hear these answers, actually, because some people just think it's just a matter of, well, we're just being cheap. And it's not quite that easy. There's always trade-offs. I just was wondering if there was room in the budget. But
right now there isn't, and we don't know. And I know there was 1 cent floating around that we could have changed the tax rate a little bit. And I was against it because we don't know what 2023 and 2024 is going to go. And 2 weeks, literally 2 weeks after we approved the budget, we started, before the 2 weeks, in fact, we started losing police officers and firefighters to cities who raised their rates, their pay. So we had to deal with that 2 weeks after we passed the budget.
Yeah.
And we did it because we're viable, our sales tax is doing good, and that's because we're right on the edge of a big town and with a gateway for all of Johnson County and 35. We're starting to get more restaurants and stuff of that nature. And but still, okay, so TCHC, which is the Tarrant County Homeless Council,
right?
They're building houses for homeless,
right?
Okay, and I appreciate the heart. And don't anybody out there think that I don't care about helping people.
No, this is I'm asking.
And I know that, but
I know
what I'm about to say can sound really cold.
Okay,
but you got to manage what you got, or you won't help anybody down the road. You won't be able to help anybody down the road. And where we're at right now is we are looking at the homeless situation coming this way. I got a lot of pushback on a statement about someone buying lunch for a homeless guy at Whataburger. And it wasn't to say don't feed the homeless. I was just speaking of the scenario that if they get used to getting fed there, they're going to come back.
Well,
yes, why would you not if you know somebody's going to buy you a meal?
Well, this is why I'm asking you the questions, to give you a chance to explain what you mean and how you see it, because some people may make assumptions that you shouldn't about what you think about these things or what the council thinks about these things. I just know that as a community, we're going to be challenged.
We are, and we're trying to be proactive. And what I've done is started looking at how other cities handled it. The small towns, we're not getting hit yet. The problem we've got is we're on the edge of being a large town, and our next door neighbor is a large town. Now, our protection right now is the fact that the homeless people in Fort Worth use MedStar as a taxi. They'll call up MedStar and say, "Oh, I'm sick. I'm this and that." They'll go get them, take them to JPS. Oh, I'm better. Then they take off, and there's nothing they can do about it. MedStar's in a bad spot in the fact that they don't get revenue off that. There's nothing. There's no insurance. There's nothing. But it's a repeat deal. We don't have that situation here or a hospital that makes that available. Everything that the homeless need is in Fort Worth, Lancaster, that whole road. Their solution is to house them. I don't have a problem with that, except on the financial side. Anything the city does has to be able to maintain it. 10 years from now, I don't want it to be a burden on another council or our taxes go up.
Do you have to deal with the federal government or the state government on this issue?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Well, I know the federal government a few years ago got involved in blockbusting is what they call it, where they
and they get everything right, don't they?
Yeah, you betcha. And what they were talking about is subsidizing rents or mortgage payments, and that just, boy, that blew up. This was about it was the beginning of Obama's second term, and I remember people going crazy because basically what I have is a situation that you could be paying your full mortgage, and the person next to you be paying about half, and the other half's being subsidized.
Section 8.
Yeah. Well, it was not just for housing, and I've talked with Shandy about this, and it's a complex issue.
It is.
It really is. It's like none of these issues are really as black and white as we'd like to think they are. I mean, it's really complex, and so I'll probably bring this up with Shandy next week about Section 8 because she knows a lot more about it than I do. But it's an issue, and I guess the reason I even brought all this up is that it does bug me a little bit when I see people that have to make these kind of decisions being characterized as uncaring. What I would really like to see happen is our Harvest House promises. You name the outfit.
Crazy Eight. Crazy Eight's got a good program.
Crazy Eight, yes. All these nonprofits expand. Now, is that the 100% of the answer? I don't know. I haven't studied it that closely, and I don't have a political objective, or a political viewpoint. Like we need to build housing, or we need to keep them out, and neither one. It's a very complex question, and as Christians, you and I have to deal with: do we subsidize somebody's lifestyle when we give them $5?
Do I give $5 or $10 to a guy that's begging on the street?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. And here's the deal: it's not my place to judge.
Mm-hmm.
If I give it to him and he goes and does something else with it, I gave. That's it. But what about the 1 out of 10 that really, really does need it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the ladies will tell you, both Jennifer and Debbie, that occasionally they deal with people that game the system, and it bothers them a lot. But they said, but they'll have to answer to God for that. We're here to help the people.
That's right.
And we're not going to take on an attitude of cynicism that, well, do you really need this food? We're not going to make them feel like, stigmatized. We're not going to embarrass them. They're just going, here it is. And if you're scamming me, God will take care of that.
Yep, it's not on us anymore.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. And
I was going to say that Harvest House is putting in, they're remodeling right now, which they really needed to. And they're putting in a large room for classes to help people learn how to eat, to how to fix their meals, how to buy food, and some other stuff too that, we tell them about the Lord and the whole thing if they want to. We don't force it on nobody.
Right. And that's what Promises does as well. I asked her about, do people feel something like, well, I have to pay for this, so to speak, by listening to a sermon or get the Gospels preached to me? And he said, no, we'll let them bring it up. And if they don't, they come get their food and they don't bring it up, maybe next time.
We had a food bank that wanted to partner with us. At the time I was on the board with Harvest House. And we said no. They wanted to give us food, but they said no because we couldn't put our leaflet in the bag.
Yeah, I always tell them a story about my father-in-law. He was a preacher in Wise County. Now he's retired and lives back in the homestead in North Carolina. And they wanted to use his church in Boyd. The Wise County did want to use his church in Boyd as a food pantry. He says, only if I could put, gospel tracts in the bag. I said, well, Lewis, you really can't do that. So, well, you ain't using my church then. Okay, just make it, quiet. So he, my father-in-law, God bless him. He is a man of true conviction. And he's like, well, I'm not doing it unless I can, at least put something other than food in the bag. And Wise County's like, well, okay, we didn't hear this kind of thing. But, it goes in, it kind of tails into something we were talking about. So once you give that money to that person, you let it go.
Let it go. Don't think about it anymore. Don't second guess yourself.
When I pay taxes, or I tithe through the church, I let it go. Even if, maybe if I don't like how this particular budget item is being spent on or whatever else, I don't put myself in a position that I have to approve everything the city or my church or whatever I've donated to, whatever expenditure they make. Do you have to deal with that sometimes? Or people think, well, I pay taxes, therefore I should have a say in how it's spent?
There's an expectation of how we're going to spend that money. Okay? And there'll be a lot of people out there saying, if you want to help people, we understand. But there's a lot of people out there saying, my church will do that, or they can get it somewhere else, or just plain, no, I don't. That's not what I gave you my money for.
Mm-hmm.
Our first responsibility is our citizens and their safety. That's number one. And then their lifestyle. Their lifestyle is tied to their property tax rate. We need to keep that down so they can afford food. That is our main concern. It would be impossible if we open the door up to help the nonprofits, because sooner or later we will give somebody more than we give somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an undertaking that we don't want to do. Here's what we can do. On the Mayor's Minute, we will pick out if you ask, I'll do that, but a nonprofit, and we walk through like we did the Harvest House Retail Center here lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done one other one with Harvest House. There's a lot of things that we can do that way. If you want to have a Mayor's Minute, I'll do it.
Okay, so they just email you, I guess.
Yeah,
right.
Let me know. Right. Just like I talk to everybody, I help any nonprofit I can.
Right. And I can verify that with the vast listening audience. You've been very good about that. And you've been good about responding to emails, because I've sent you a couple. And
my emails is, if you want to talk, send me your phone number.
Right.
That's my emails.
Right. Now, but I guess the point is that when we pay taxes, you talk about the expectation of prudence and, being careful with the money and prioritizing the money appropriately and all this other stuff.
Planning long term.
Yeah, all these things. I could go through that budget and say, well, we spend too much on this or not enough on that. I don't look at public financing like that. I feel like if the city or the county or whomever else I vote for is wasting my money, then that's what voting is for, not for micromanaging public financing. Same thing with the school district. I could promise you, all the years I worked for BISD, not so much lately, but I know back in the day they would spend money on stuff. I'm like, what are you thinking about? And we'd make our voices known. But so I'm not saying people shouldn't say anything, but they shouldn't have this expectation.
Yes, they should. Brad, they should.
No, and that's what I'm saying. They should say something. I guess
ask. One of my biggest problems with this whole mayor gig is the misinformation that you see on social media.
What?
And all you got to do is call, and if I don't know, I'll get somebody. I'll find out. But the misinformation that goes around, and it starts fights on that thing.
Yes, it does. And that's been one of the more unfortunate aspects of social media, because it started out something else. Now it's just a free-for-all in some cases. But my point is, if I didn't speak it correctly, was that people should show up and they say, hey, I don't like you spend the money on this. But to make it a point of contention to the point where the city can't function is really been, hopefully Burleson has avoided a lot of that. I see what's going on in some of these other towns.
Oh, my gosh. I would never be a mayor of a small town.
Yeah. And there's a couple I'm thinking of. I'd rather not say, but they're not too far from us. And I thought, man, Burleson must, we got all these things going on. It ain't a patch to what's going on in a couple of these small towns I'm thinking of, where, it's basically a WWE wrestling match. But if people don't like how the city is spending, they should talk to you, not bellyache about it on a Facebook page, right?
See Fletcher at Burleson TX or Mayor at Burleson TX. I hadn't had any emails in a long time, but I do out on the street. People will ask me questions, and if I don't know, I'll jot it down and I'll get it to my city manager, and he does. When
they do that, what is the number one thing they're referring to? Is it the streets? Is it
It's whatever? One of the things that I'm not good at is details on roads. They start calling off county roads that we're doing this, and it ties into so-and-so's place over there. And, and there's a pothole at the turn in by his hog farm. I don't know where that is. So I usually, Nancy and I go for a ride, and we'll go out there and find it. Roads is the main thing. Intersections we're growing. We got plans for a lot of stuff. One of the things I want to do, we have the state of the city with the chamber once a year. I've asked the city manager to get our drone out and go take pictures before we start doing anything on the road. And we could possibly have a mid-year update so we can show what's going on. What happened is I was on the TRTC board meeting, the Tarrant Regional Traffic Coalition, and we hired a new website deal, and they were showing this drone shot. And when we got through it, that's really nice, but everything you showed me was Fort Worth. And I got to thinking about it, and this is all after the fact of what we did there, or what that group did. We need to be accountable to the citizens of how we're spending your bond, where we're at, and the new 311 number. Oh, Jesse Elidondo is just doing a super job.
311.
311. That's going to be coming out. We're test running it right now, I believe. But you hit 311, it goes to the city, and that department that we transfer the call to will be held accountable for getting back with you or not answering your questions, whatever. And also, the people that will be answering the 311 will be very knowledgeable of the events going on, so they'll be able to answer your questions and tell you how to get things done or what to do. It's a voice. It's not a machine.
So 311, though, is not just for something specific about the city. It's about anything the city has.
Anything the city does, 311.
So like if I want to know what day the Christmas parade is.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Or
it's something being canceled.
Of course, it's already been, Christmas parade's already come and gone, right?
Yeah, that was a good one, too. Did you see the drone show?
Well, I did not, but I heard about it. I heard, some people on the Facebook were talking about it, and they said it was pretty interesting.
It was pretty neat.
And that I know last night's meeting, y'all talked about, hiring them there again, hooking them up for another show at some other point, maybe 4th of July or something like that. But as far as last night's meeting, there also was a couple other things that were big, and that was the purchase of land for new softball fields.
But no, it's not.
Or did I misunderstand?
It could be. No, it could be.
Okay.
The thing about it is we want to develop. The way I stand on our golf course, if we're going to have a golf course, it needs to be one we're proud of. And right now, it needs a lot of repairs and stuff of that nature. It is having record tee times right now. So the numbers are changing to the good. We've got a good manager. James is doing a great job on this. We took a ride, and he showed us what he needs done, and we approved that money. But that's just the start. The road, the trees on I-35, I want to say I've been kind of hard on them about that. Then I found out that belongs to TxDOT, of which you don't order around. They have to come and clean the trees up. So we're gonna start pushing that narrative a little bit for them. Everything about that golf course is good. It just needs to be brought up to speed, and then we're going to start trying to develop where the pro shop is, the softball fields, and also a part across Hidden Creek from the pro shop is called the Jug Handle.
It's right near the new fire station, right?
It's down from that at the intersection.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Just a patch of land right there.
Yes.
Small, not big, but yeah.
But we're not getting rid of our softball fields, but we got to have a new place for them.
Right. That's what I meant.
The land right now, and there's some voting. It's parkland. I think Sherry brought that up the last meeting we had. It's parkland. We have to vote to take it out of that to put it somewhere else. So we're still in the land deal's looking good, but we need to get concept drawings, make sure everybody's happy with it, possibly a new city hall. This is a big deal for us because we are scattered everywhere at City Hall right now.
A new City Hall, really?
It's 10, 20 years down the road, so don't...
Oh, no. I'm not.
But we're coming next week.
That's right. It's you send your emails to.
So it could be any of that. So we're not saying that's where the softballs are going. It's a real possibility over there. But we have to make a commitment on moving the softball fields to get our developer interested.
Sure.
He's already done concepts on what's going on out there, right on 35, and that could generate revenue for the city, which is...
Well, we were talking about this quite a bit. I had Rick and Ronnie on late October, and we were talking about this. This is well before what you've told us. I mean, we now a little bit further down the road, but my goodness, what a great spot that would be. We need an event center similar to what Cleburne has, because right now Pathways and First Baptist are kind of filling that gap. But there's a lot of potential smaller conventions that aren't going to put their stuff.
You imagine having a conference room on the top of a hotel that you could see that view.
Sure.
Anybody that hasn't seen that view from the golf course, from the pro shop, it is amazing.
Or you go up to the Seventh-day Adventist building on the other side. You get a great view of the city from that top slope. But it's like that. It'd be a great place if you had a hotel tie-in. All those things are available to us now. It's not going to cost nothing. It's going to be some money, and that's where real sales job is going to be, because you're going to have 10% of our population. Well,
we're going to have a 10-year revenue stream that's going to be to the black real quick.
Well, you're going to have to expel that, because a lot of people are going to say, well, why aren't we spending money on this? And I'm like, it sure paid off for Fort Worth and for Dallas when they brought in the Omni.
That's the models we're going from.
It paid off big for them. And can you imagine?
Own 35.
Yeah, right.
Own 35, and that's the key. TxDOT's coming in. Mm-hmm. We have had really great success on our charter with the RTC, who selects the roads. We're getting representation on it. Mm-hmm. We've got some really good things about our bond that I'll announce later. But we are really, for a venue like that to be on I-35 is going to be phenomenal for the golf course, and we're not going to have to subsidize that. Hopefully, my plan is to not operate the golf course in the red anymore and be a burden on us.
Well, also, if you wanted to, down Dobson Street by those soccer fields, you could have like a trolley, maybe not like a built-in trolley, but like a tram or.
It's going to take my glory away, aren't you?
Oh, is that, you were going to talk about that too?
Well, we're all talking about that. We want to tie the old town in to the new venue. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I busted the surprise, but
no, don't worry about it. I'm just jacking with you. But you don't think about it is, I call Dobson our mosquito hatch.
Yes, it is. But that's where my kids played soccer all those years.
I tell you.
And I guess, I don't know what you can do with that land. I bet it's in a floodplain.
It is, but there's still stuff we can do. We've got disc golf under their high lines. We could do something over there to clean it up.
Well, and all these things that you move, though, you have to replace. Like you said, the softball fields.
I just want everybody out there to realize we are not getting rid of their softball fields. Now, to renovate those softball fields is nearly the same amount as building another one.
You need to build another one. I played a lot of ball on those softball fields.
That parking lot, that whole deal is in horrible shape. That was misengineered on that parking lot.
It's, for me, it's suitable. It's not Yankee Stadium, but I'm fine. It's a softball, but, then you go down to Chisenhall, and that's a nice baseball field. Yeah. I never played on ball fields like that, and it's a very nice. And you need something for a city of a softball nature that is equivalent in terms of, quality and sightliness and all this other stuff.
If we're not going to do it right, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to throw up. We can make a softball field, a few bucks, throw up a fence, put out some sand, play ball. But no, that's not how it works. Not if you're a community that advertises itself for families and whatever else. But I always thought the softball fields would be a fantastic place. I know this has been talked about for years, but it's a fantastic place for what we're talking about now. And I hope to live to see it. But there's those two.
That's the reason I'm staying.
Yeah, okay.
I'm coming back, and I want to finish what I start.
Well, you made it pretty clear in other shows that you plan on running in May.
I do. I am. I'm not through.
You're not through, eh?
I hope everybody votes for me.
Well,
there might be a handful out there that doesn't want me around.
That's the nature of politics, isn't it?
I'm fine with it.
But it's.
I tell you what, I did not want this job to start with, but it's been one of the best things I've ever done.
Really? So, I mean, it's been a blessing.
Little old ladies coming up and praying for me and Nancy at a restaurant. You can't. It's really good, and I enjoyed seeing like Russell Farms and seeing all the people and talking to them. And
well, that's the better part of the job. The other part of the job is, I'm sure.
Herding cats.
Yeah, try to get everybody in the council and on the same page.
The council is coming together. We're getting a lot of good stuff done. I don't have a problem with them.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure in those private meetings in there, the executive sessions,
Bad.
Not as bad as it used to
Quit
be.
stirring the pot, Brad. Okay.
So tell us every detail what happened in these executive meetings. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to hear that. I've been on groups where we had executive meetings, and it's pretty frank in there, but that's why you have them private, so they could be frank.
I don't have a problem with being passionate.
Yeah.
If they're not passionate and they're just there to vote yes or no, then you need to get off. But my council is passionate. Executive session, that's where you need to voice your opinion,
Right.
and we do. And we come out of there and we're united. Well, not united.
Well,
but we're respectful.
Right. You've had
we're
your say.
respectful.
Oh, yeah. I come out of those meetings when I was with the State Board for Educator Certification, and it'd be still be a 9-4 vote, and I might be one of those 4, but I felt like I had my say, and I didn't take it out on the 9 that voted for something or against something. Took it personally. I never took it personally because it wasn't about me. It was about this policy issue or whatever else. And that's kind of how it works a bit. I'm glad to hear that, things are settling down a bit. We're about to enter into an election season, and I hope it maintains a bit more civility than the one 2.5 years ago, because you had to endure that yourself.
You don't let it get to you.
Well, I mean, still.
There's people making statements about you that don't even know you.
Right.
And that's the part that,
And in whoever runs in these races, I hope we draw a caliber of candidate like we've been talking about. They put the city first and their own personal objectives fifth, way down the list, not even second, but down the list. And, I look around all these people we have in Burleson. I'm hoping that many of them will say, hey, it's my turn to serve. And, so that's a prayer for us in this city. That
the key is to serve.
Mm-hmm.
If you got an ego, please don't get on.
No, well, if you think you're going to be treated like a king everywhere you go, I guess you could tell them stories about that. That's a whole situation. Is when you're looking at an election and you can see this person wants to serve and this one wants to be known as a city council member. There's a distinct difference in how they present themselves. We need people like Ronnie, who's been doing this for 30 years, and stuff like that. And so, or Rick, or, the people involved in the school boards, and also the people involved in appointed positions, not elected so much, but the people that volunteer their time. How many boards we have? Like a half a dozen? Talking like the Parks Committee, the Planning and Zoning.
I want to say there's 6, and we're developing a committee right now for an overview of the Arts District.
Arts District.
Well, I'm saying it wrong. We want a consistency in our arts. Like we had some guy come in and paint up the overpass at Bailey.
Okay, sure.
Okay. There's more plants. And I refer this to Victoria and Tamara. Mm-hmm. They're the artsy people in our parks deal. I don't claim to know it all, but I know who to go to.
Right.
When I have questions on the quality of the roads, I go to Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate, I go to Rick.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be the smartest, but you just got to know where to look. Even Einstein says, why do you have to remember everything when you know where to look?
Right. Well, and so.
I'm not an Einstein. So.
Right. Oh, well, okay. Well, I'm just glad. I just want to point out these people that serve on these committees. They do it at their own time. I don't know if they have much expense, but there you are.
I have been Public Arts Committee.
Public Art Committee.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah would be a good person for that. She's pretty artsy. She knows everybody anyway. But as far as I just want to give them a shout out, so to speak, because I know what it takes. I've been on several school committees over my career, and it takes time and it takes effort, and you have to plan your schedule around meetings and all this other stuff. And Sherry Scott says, dedicated to serve. That's what they are, and so I appreciate them all. And I think sometimes
what Sherry is.
Yeah.
She comes to everything. She's,
mm-hmm.
I've asked her a lot of good questions, and she kind of points me in the direction, and we've had good talks. I appreciate her.
Well, like I said, we're coming up on an election, but it's you and I hope and pray that it's just a typical appropriate election where the issues are discussed, views are discussed, everything else is ignored, so, because it's a tough thing.
You
to
have
serve.
noticed that when someone gets nasty on Facebook, a lot of other people jump on them.
I have seen that, yes,
I'm
they're tired
proud of
it.
that.
And I think they're just tired of people getting on there, throwing out trash, and then thinking they're going about their business. They need to know, that doesn't have a place in our community. That doesn't have a role to play in anything we're trying to do here. You can state your opinion without being abusive. If I don't like something that's going on with the schools, I don't need to trash Dr. Jimerson. If I don't like...
How many times have you seen something on there and said, why would we even put that on there?
I've seen more than I care to.
Yeah.
Or like if I'm not happy with the city, I mean, I'm not going to say, well, that mayor is... that's nothing like that, because it's just not right, and it's counterproductive. So I hope, it's coming up, and I'm sure I'll have guests on my show that are running for office, and to be honest, I'm going to look into them, unless I know them well personally. But I'm going to look into anybody I don't know well before I have them on the show.
Why would you not have them on the show?
Because if I think they're going to be the kind of person that's going to use the position for their personal ego or gain, I don't want to promote that.
A little show in their interview.
Yeah, well, there's another outlet for that. I'm not going to have my show associated with some of the more issues or views that are counterproductive to what we're trying to do. Now, I'm just saying that if we have a situation where I got two people that are running and they're both quality people and they're running for one of the seats or whatever, or school board, I'll have maybe not at the same time unless they agree to it, but I'll have them both on different occasions. But if there's somebody that's running that I know from his Facebook or her Facebook postings and her comments in public and the way she's conducted or he's conducted himself in these issues, I'm not going to promote or give them oxygen to further that goal.
You don't take their oxygen away. Huh?
They can go somewhere else for that. And but I'm just saying that.
Why's that woman's face blue? He took her oxygen away.
Well, pretty much. No, it's.
He said pretty much.
I know.
No, the people say, "What? You're denying them an opportunity." Well, I'm denying them an opportunity here, but they go elsewhere.
This is your show, and I respect what you want to do.
I'm just hoping that I won't have to be making those kind of judgments or decisions. That if we have, I don't know, seat 4, I don't know if it's open or not, but say it is. If they have two people that are running, they're good people. They'll both have a shot. They'll both have a chance. I may prefer one over the other, but I'm not going to make the other feel like he or she has no place on this show. They're going to have their say, and it'll be respectful. It'll be cordial. It'll be probably, pretty friendly. But I hate to tell you, Chris, but not everybody in this community is running for the same virtuous reasons that others are.
Really?
Yeah. You found that out? Some are running.
I know a lot more than I really want to.
Yeah, sure. But they may be running for personal ambition or personal financial gain, or just because they like the power trip, and no thank you.
That's sad too, but it's true.
It's true. And we, off the air, we could tell many names over the years. I mean, this is not something that's happened in the last year or two. I mean, as long as you have politics,
it's going to be there.
It's going to be there. I've seen it for 30 years. And you have too. It's just the nature of the system. But I'm glad you asked me that question, because I've had a couple of people ask me, "You're going to have so-and-so, or you're going to have both of them, or you're going to whatever." And I said, well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Depends on the person, depends on what they want.
I've been several situations where you need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And this is your show, so if you don't want to, don't do it.
Well, I don't know if that's even going to be an issue. I
don't think it will. I think the landscape has changed on.
I do too.
On running. I've talked to several good quality people that might be interested in it. I wish them the best.
Yeah. They haven't talked to me yet, because I guess they're afraid that I might let it slip on the air or whatever. I haven't had anybody.
Think?
Yeah. I know something you don't, or this kind of silly junk. I don't have anything like that. I may know stuff in a couple of weeks.
You can't control it, can you, Taylor?
Yeah.
I got a mute button, but I'm not that fast.
So I haven't been told anything, but I may be by the end of this month. Or I know the sign-up starts in January, doesn't it?
I don't know. I hadn't checked. I've never done this before.
I think it's January. I'm sure Sarah, if she's listening, could tell us. It's January. I think it's the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, we got intelligent people listening.
Yeah,
both of them.
Yeah, well, we'll wait to see if Sarah's. But she got to also take care of those 3 hoodlums.
You got it.
Yeah. So here it is.
Look at you.
Here she is.
I got glare on the screen.
It says everyone with a platform has to decide what they want that platform to be associated with and what they want to avoid. That's fair and responsible. I like I said, if I have 2 friends or 2 acquaintances or even a friend and a stranger running, and I find out this stranger is, good quality person, they will have a seat. They'll have a chance.
Hey, Sarah, when does the sign up start? Do you know?
She says, I actually haven't looked up that day yet. Oh, I know. I could tell.
I got glare on the screen from over here.
I asked Victoria this question. I'll pull it up. I asked her about it. I have Victoria on next Tuesday.
Good.
And I did ask her this question. One of your best friends, I shall not say, it says January 13th.
January 13th.
Yeah. Yeah, so you get about like a week, or not a week, like a month or 5 weeks or something like that to do it. So
isn't that amazing? 2 years already gone by.
Oh, it does. When you're having fun. Well, it's been fun. I've been informative. So I hope we, next show will be probably like around January 10th or 11th. Something. I don't have the January calendar in front of me. And by that time, you all have signed up, or about to anyway. And you could wear your vote for Pedro's shirt. Right, Taylor?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, yes, I do.
I don't know if the mayor knows.
Can I borrow some chapstick?
It's an old reference to in the movie Napoleon Dynamite. But you could have your
okay.
You could wear your hat.
I know what you're talking about. Then.
Sweet.
Yeah, you could have your a shirt vote for me or whatever. I tell you what would be a real good vote getter if you walk around with one of these hats. Hey, my vote's right there. If he's wearing
Mr. Allard's neighborhood.
That's what
I'm
I'm
worried
saying.
about the boats. I'm worried about getting shot.
So is my wife. You're like, are you sure you need to wear that out in public? Here. All righty. Well, you have the last word, Mr. Mayor. So tell us what you'd like for us to know.
Ooh, that's quick.
I know. I threw it on you.
I'm very, very happy about all of the festivities. Always from Thanksgiving up till now, the city has just done a great job of bringing our community together. I'm proud of our churches. Several of them has put Thanksgiving baskets together, Christmas baskets where people needing food can come by and get that. I'm proud of Harvest House and their new retail center and the changes they're making at their original office. I'm just ecstatic about the staff at City Hall and how they're working together and excited to get things done. I'm telling you, we have just got such a great staff. We're moving forward. We're being proactive instead of reactive. I pray for all those people that don't have a home and needing food. I don't have an answer for that, but that comes down on individuals. And and I say this to everybody, if you have the funds to help somebody, don't second guess, just do it. Mm-hmm. That's the only way we're going to get through this as a community, is if the ones that have give the ones that don't. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to make that any clearer.
No,
this is not.
That's well
the city
said.
will help anytime they have the opportunity to do it, but that's not on the city to do that. That's on individuals to help others. If your neighbor needs something, the city will help out if it can. We won't go do the work, and we do that sometimes. I've had police officers mow somebody's yard and firefighters going out and clean things up. We do that, but we walk a real thin line on how far we can go with that. This is money that we collect to operate the city is not ours to pass out, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It can be misused if that's the case. So we're doing it the right way. We will help every chance we can, but it probably won't be financial. But personally, we can. People can do that, and they need to step up.
Well, as well said. And I think it's pretty clear and concise, and I don't think anybody will have any problem understanding that.
Someone will.
Oh, well, they just look.
No, I hope not. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I'm going to be optimistic that this election season is going to be appropriate. You know, there's going to be disagreements. That's politics. That's fine. That's why you have.
And maybe it's something I need to know.
Right, but I'm optimistic it's going to be positive. And at the end of the day, the voice of the people will be heard and hands will be shaken and said, well done, sir, or ma'am. And that'll be it. All right, guys. Thursday, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Telling you the truth, I had a guest that may or may not be available, so I'd rather not say because I don't want to put him on the spot. If not, Joe Biden's giving me plenty of material to talk about on Thursday. And next week I have Shandy, and then I have Victoria. And so you want to be sure to be around for that. All right, and we'll see y'all next time.
Thank y'all.